Welcome to Prepare Your Windows Environment to Work with AWS Services video course. Let me briefly walk you through the content of the course, which is also available by the link provided in the resources section of this video. This course is designed to help you set up and optimize your Windows computer for working with Amazon Web Services. The course covers the following topics: installing the necessary software and tools to run Linux on top of Windows, setting up Sublime Text for a seamless work experience, setting up AWS account and creating new IAM users, configuring multi-factor authentication for users' security, setting up a billing alarm to get notifications in case of exceeding specified threshold, installing and configuring AWS CLI, Git, Terraform, and other utilities, setting up environment variables, and creating functions or aliases in Bash. By the end of the course, you will have a fully configured Windows environment that is optimized for working with AWS services, allowing you to work more efficiently and effectively. The course is suitable for developers, system administrators, and DevOps engineers who want to learn how to use AWS services in a Windows environment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In this video, we will go through how to install Windows Terminal on Windows 10. Windows version older than Windows 10 do not support Windows Terminal application, and Windows 10 in turn has its own limitation. Its version has to be higher than a certain version to be able to support Windows Terminal. Instructions on how to check that will be provided in a minute. Windows 11 though comes with Windows Terminal pre-installed by default. So if you find that your Windows does not support Windows Terminal, please consider upgrading it to a newer version if you want to proceed with this course. So what is Windows Terminal? Windows Terminal is a modern, fast and efficient terminal application that provides a seamless experience when working with multiple command line tools on Windows. So let's get started. As the first step, please follow the link provided in the resources section of this video and open links.md file. Then please open the first link provided. It will forward you to the GitHub repo of Windows Terminal application. If you scroll a little bit up, you will see a note that the Windows Terminal requires a certain Windows version. In order to check the version of your Windows system, you need to open the Run window. To do that, please press Windows key together with R letter. In the opened window, type WinVer, which stands for Windows version. Here you can see that the version of system that I have is higher than the minimum required, so I am good to proceed. Let's get back to the installation instructions. And follow the releases page link. In the opened window, you can see the latest available version of Windows Terminal. Obviously, by the time you will be watching this video, this version might be different, but as of now, it is the latest available stable version. Now scroll a bit down and you will see the list of setup files. I will click on the first link for Windows 10. And let's give it a couple of seconds to download the file. Now the download has completed and we can proceed with installation. Please open the file. In the opened window, please untick Launch when ready option and click Install. Now the installation has completed. Let's close this window and we can open the Windows Terminal from the Start menu. Here you can see a window of Windows Terminal application. Its default prompt is the Windows PowerShell, where you can type in any Windows command. And that's it. You have now installed Windows Terminal on your Windows machine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In this video, I'll walk you through how to install WSL as well as Linux Ubuntu distro on your Windows machine. Windows Subsystem for Linux is a compatibility layer for running Linux binary executables natively on Windows. It allows users to run Linux commands, tools, and applications on Windows without having to use a virtual machine or dual booting. WSL provides a Linux environment on Windows, including access to the file system and the full Linux shell, allowing users to run Linux scripts and tools alongside their Windows applications. It is particularly useful for developers who need access to Linux tools while working on Windows. So let's get started. First of all, we need to enable WSL on the system level. To do that, please right-click on the Start menu, click Apps and Features, then select Optional Features, scroll to the bottom, and select More Windows Features. In the list appeared, we have to select a couple of items. Scroll to the end of the list, and then select Windows Subsystem for Linux as well as Virtual Machine Platform, and then click OK. To apply the changes, we need to restart our machine. Please go ahead with Restart. Now our computer has restarted. Let's get back to the installation process. There are multiple ways to install WSL on your Windows, and one of them is by using Microsoft Store. If you follow the link provided in the GitHub repo, it will forward you to the page with instructions on how to install WSL from the Microsoft Store. But this option sometimes doesn't work on some Windows installations, and that's why we will choose another way. Namely, we will install WSL from the terminal. Let's open our Windows terminal and type the following command. WSL-L-O. It provides the list of available Linux distros that we can install on our WSL. We will choose the latest available Ubuntu. Type WSL install -d and then the name of the distro. It will take some time, so I'll pause the video and resume once the installation has completed. Now it has completed and the new window pops up, saying that there is an error with installation of our Ubuntu distro. To fix this error, we need to set the default version of our WSL. Let's type in the following command: WSL set default version to. Also, let's select Ubuntu as our default distro. Let's type WSL set default and then the name of the distro. Apparently, there is no such distribution. Let me try to list all the installed Linux distros. I'll type WSL-L-V. As you can see, there is nothing installed, and I think it happened because I missed a very important step. Let's rerun the install command and get back to the previous window. Now, if we read the error carefully, we actually have to install the kernel component update. Let's follow the link provided in the error message. And here we have a tutorial on how to install the Linux kernel update package. Follow the link, and now we're downloading the file. It has completed. Let's open the file and follow the installation wizard. Now our Linux kernel is updated. Let's rerun the install command. Here you can see the installation is progressing without an error. Now we are prompted to type in the username of our Ubuntu distro. I'll type Ubuntu. And then the password. And then retype the password. And that's it. We just installed Ubuntu Linux on our WSL. Let's close this window and open our distro from the Windows terminal. Let's restart the Windows terminal. Now click on the drop-down arrow and you can see that the Ubuntu distro has appeared in the list. Let's change the default distro for our Windows terminal. Click Settings. Here you can select the default settings for every profile, but we need to change the default in the Startup section. Please change it from Windows PowerShell to Ubuntu. Save the settings and then restart Windows Terminal. Here you can see the Windows Terminal has started with Ubuntu by default. Now you can type in Linux commands, and here I listed the content of the home directory. And we're done. We have now installed WSL as well as Linux Ubuntu distro on our Windows machine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In this video we will install Sublime Text on our Windows machine. We will also make sure that the file system of our Ubuntu Linux is visible and manageable from Sublime Text. So what is Sublime Text? Sublime Text is a popular cross-platform text editor that is commonly used for programming and development tasks. It is known for its sleek, minimalist interface, powerful features, and extensive customization options. To get started, please follow the link provided in the GitHub repo. It will forward you to the home page of Sublime Text. Here you can see multiple versions available, and I will choose Windows 64-bit. Now open the downloaded file and follow the installation wizard. Great! You just installed Sublime Text on your Windows machine. Let's open the application from the Start menu. As you can see, Sublime Text suggests you to install the newer version. But let's stick with the one that we've just downloaded, because it is the latest stable available version. The first thing we need to do is to install the package control. Please go to the Tools and then click Install Package Control. It's been successfully installed, and now go to Preferences and then click Package Control. Type Install Packages, and here you get the access to the entire database of Sublime packages. For example, you can install Python or Terraform packages, which are able to highlight the syntax of those languages. For now, let's leave it as it is. Next, let's start your Ubuntu subsystem and get back to the Sublime Text. Click File and then Open Folder. Here type // WSL and then $ , and press Enter. Now you can see the file system of your Ubuntu. Let's go to the home directory of our Ubuntu user, and then click Select Folder. Perfect. We're able to see the content of our Ubuntu home directory in the Sublime text. We can see the same thing if we list files in the directory from the Windows terminal. Now let's try to open a sample file. And then open the same file in Sublime text. As you can see, Sublime text makes it even more readable, because it is able to highlight the syntax of the language. Another thing is to select the color scheme. Go to Preferences, and then click Color Scheme. Personally, I prefer dark schemas, and here you can choose multiple options. I will stick with this one. Next, let's change the theme. Go to Preferences, and then click Theme, and then select Adaptive Sublime Theme. As you can see, the color of the tree has been adjusted to the main color of Sublime text. Now it looks much better, and I will keep it this way. And we're done! We have successfully installed Sublime text on our Windows machine. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. In this video, I'll show you how to install Docker Desktop on a Windows machine, as well as how to integrate it with WSL, so that we can access Docker application from within the Ubuntu subsystem. Docker is a popular open source platform for building, shipping, and running software applications in containers. Containers provide a lightweight and portable way to package software and its dependencies, making it easier to move applications between different environments. To get started, please follow the link provided in the GitHub repo. In the opened window, please scroll a bit down, then select the download link. The process can take a while, so I'll pause the video to save some time. It has completed. Now open the file and follow the installation wizard. I don't need shortcut on my desktop, so I'll untick this option and click OK. The installation has completed. Let's close this window and open Docker Desktop from the Start menu. Accept the agreement. And then give some time for the Docker to start. Now it's started, let's go to the settings. On the General tab, make sure that the Use WSL tool option is selected, and then go to the Resources section. Select WSL integration and enable the Docker on Ubuntu. And then click Apply and Restart. Now the Docker has restarted. Let's start Ubuntu to confirm that the Docker is installed. Type Docker version. And it's run successfully. That's it. We've just installed Docker Desktop on our Windows, as well as Ubuntu subsystem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In this video, we will be creating a new AWS account, where we can start experimenting with different AWS services. To get started, let's follow the link provided in the GitHub repo. It will forward you to the home page of Amazon Web Services. In the opened window, please select Create an AWS account. Here you need to enter your email address and account name. You can use any account name that you want. The next step is to verify your email address. Please go to your email box and copy the verification code from AWS. Paste it in here and click Verify. The next step is to create the root user password. As you can see, there are some requirements that the password should comply with. Retype the password and go ahead. The next step is to provide a personal information, like country, city, phone number, etc. Do not forget to tick the last option. The next step is to provide billing information. And then you have to verify your identity. Provide your phone number. And then once you get SMS from AWS, type in the verification code. We're almost there. Let's select the support plan. Basic support is more than enough for us. And then click Complete. Congratulations! You've just created a new AWS account. Let's try to log in. We will be logging in under the root user. Here enter your email address. And then the password. Now you've got the access to the management console of your account. You will see some navigation tips, and also you will see the list of the commonly used services. Also, you can type in the name of the service in the search bar on the top. For example, S3 or EC2 or RDS, and then follow the link to the service. And that's it. We have successfully created an AWS account. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In this video, I'll walk you through the steps of securing the root user and creating a separate IAM user for managing AWS services. Please open the console page and then navigate to the IAM service section. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. On the main page of the service, you can see some security warnings. We will address the first one a little bit later. For now, go to the User section and then click Add Users. Here you have to type in the username. I will type in test user and then click Next. Then we need to assign policy to the user. Select the third box and then you can either attach an existing policy or create a new one. I will attach an existing policy called Administrator Access and then click Next. Scroll down and then click Create User. Cool, the user has been successfully created. click on the user, and now we are on the user's page. You can see some permissions assigned to a user, the groups that the user belongs to, some tags, and security credentials. There are multiple sections like console sign-in, MFA, and access keys section, and we will be creating an access keys. Select the first box, command line interface, tick the last option, and then click next. The tags are optional, we can skip them, and we've got access and secret keys. Let's copy them and store locally on our computer. Keep in mind, when you store your credentials, you should store them in the secure place, so that nobody can access them. Click Done. We can ignore this warning as we already saved the credentials locally. Here you can see the current status of the user. Console access is disabled for this user, and the access key is active, but has never been used. Let's also enable the console access for this user. Click Enable Console Access. Select Enable, and then select Custom Password. Type in the custom password, and then click Apply. Now the console access has been enabled, and we can see the status has changed. It is enabled but without MFA. First of all, let's enable MFA for our root user. Please get back to the main page of the IAM service, then click Add MFA. MFA adds an additional layer of security by requiring the user to provide an authentication code from a device like smartphone or hardware token. Click Assign MFA device. Here we need to type in some device name. I will type in root auth. And then select the first option, an authenticator app. Click Next. Now you have to install Authenticator app on your smartphone. You can select one of these applications. Also, I mentioned some applications in the GitHub repo. Personally, I use Duo mobile application. Once you install the application, open it, tap Add Account, and then you have to scan this QR code. The next step is to type in the password that was generated by the application. And then once the password has refreshed, type it in the second time. Then click Add the MFA, and we're done. We just assigned MFA device for our root user. Let's do the same for our test user. But first of all, let's check the status of the security warning. Go to the main page and click Refresh button. Here we go, user has an MFA device attached. Now go to the users, click on the test user, then click on the warning, and then enable MFA. Here I will type in test user auth, and then select Authenticator app. Click Next. Then open your application, add an account, Scan this QR code, then type in the first generated password, refresh it and type in the second one, and then click Add MFA. I can see that the status has changed. Now it is enabled with MFA. Let's log in under the test user. Before that, we need to save our account ID, log out of the root user, and click Log Back In. This time we will be logging in under an IAM user. Enter an account ID, and then click Next. Here you have to type in username, it is test user, and then the password that we created for the console access. Then click Sign In. The last thing is to type in the MFA code generated by our Authenticator app. And now we are logged in under our test user. Let's get back to the IAM service. Click on Users. You can see that the last activity of this user was just now. And here you can see the status has changed. Last console sign-in was just today. And we are done. We have successfully created new user, and we assigned MFA device for our root user as well as new user. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. In this video, I'll walk you through how to set up a billing alarm for AWS account. The billing alarm will help you to get notifications when you are getting charged by AWS. But before that, let me give a quick overview of what is AWS free tier. To get started, please open the console page. Then type in free tier in the search bar, and then select Take advantage of the AWS free tier. On the opened page, please click Explore the AWS free tier offerings. And let's read what Amazon provides. Explore more than 100 products and start building on AWS using the free tier. 3 different types of free offers are available, depending on the product used. So as we can see, there are 3 types of offerings: free trials, 12 months free, and always free. Free trials provides an opportunity to use some services for a short period of time. 12 months obviously provides the same for 12 months, and always free is just free. Below is the list of free tier eligible services. You can filter, let's say, for always free, and it turns out that 25 GB of data can be stored in Amazon DynamoDB for free. Or 1 million requests per month to AWS Lambda service is also free. We can also use Amazon SNS, CloudFront, SQS, etc. There is quite a lot of services available. Also, if we check 12 months option, you can see that EC2 is available for free for 12 months if you do not exceed 750 hours per month. Of course, it is limited to certain instance types like T2 micro or T3 micro, but nevertheless it is a huge support if you want to try or learn something about the service. And the last option is free trials. For example, you can use Amazon SageMaker for 2 months for free. The same goes for Amazon Redshift and some other services. So in a nutshell, it is a great offering that is extremely helpful if you want to test some services or learn new skills, which we will be doing during this course series. Now let's get back to creating the billing alarm. Type billing or bills in the search bar, and then click on the billing service. Now the billing service page has opened, but as you can see, we do not have enough permissions. Apparently, the administrator access policy that I have attached to my test user doesn't have enough permissions to use the billing service. Let me sign out, and then sign in as a root user. I will enter my email address, and then type the password. Then I have to enter the MFA code from the Authenticator app. And now we're logged in as a root user. Please get back to the billing service. And here you can see the default dashboard of the AWS billing service. There are some very useful sections, like the free tier, to let you know the current status of the free tier limits, or the bills section, which will help you to see the charges reports for every month. But now let's focus on billing preferences. There are two important features that need to be enabled. The first one is to receive notifications in case we exceed the free tier limits, and the second is to receive billing alerts. Don't forget to save the settings. To achieve our goal, we can either use a billing alarm or a budget. If we choose a billing alarm, we can click on the link provided and we will be forwarded to the CloudWatch service. It is the monitoring, alarming and logging service of AWS. Here you can select the Alarms section and then Billing. And then you can create an alarm. I will not be going this way. I will be using the AWS budget feature, which I think it is more straightforward to set up. But before doing that, let me spin up an EC2 instance, or in other words, a virtual machine, to cause some charges from AWS to test the budget that I will be creating. You can skip this step and just create an AWS budget afterwards. So I navigated to EC2 service and clicked Launched Instance. Here we need to set up instance name. Then I have to select the instance type. I'm ignoring the free tier eligible instance types on purpose, because I need to select the instance that will incur some costs. I will select T3 2x large, which will cost around 33 cents for 1 hour of running. And then click Launch. We do not need key pair in this case, so we can ignore this warning. Now the instance has been launched. Open it. And here you can see that the instance is running. If you follow along, please do not forget to terminate the instance after a few hours to avoid unnecessary charges. Let's get back to the previous page, and now we can follow the new budget feature link. Click Create a budget. We can use a template, and in particular, the Zero Spend Budget template. Now specify the email that should be used for receiving the alerts. I will type in my email and then click Create a budget. Now we created the budget. Let's click on it and see what we have in there. We can see the budget history, which is empty at the moment. Actually, after enabling the budget, it could take up to 24 hours, or even a bit more, to populate the data into the budget service. Here you can see the alert associated with the budget. As there is no data, I will pause the video and resume once the data is there. The video is back. I think something around 26 or 27 hours passed since I enabled the budget. And here you can see that we got the data finally. Important thing is that I let the EC2 instance run for about 3 hours. And you can see that I got charged by AWS for $1.3. And the alarm status is red. It is exceeded threshold of $1 set in the template. If I go to my email box, I can see the notification from the service that the spending has increased and has exceeded the threshold. So we confirm that configured budget is working as expected. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In this video, we will focus on installing different utilities to boost our productivity while working with AWS services. The first thing we will install is Git. As you probably know, Git is a powerful tool that can help streamline the software development process. It is the most widely used version control system in the world, and we will be definitely using it during our course series. So to do that, let's open Ubuntu subsystem in our Windows terminal. And then type sudo apt update command, which will refresh the package list from the repositories. apt is a short for Advanced Package Tool. It is a command line utility for package management in Ubuntu and other Debian-based Linux distributions. It is used to install, remove, and update software packages from the repositories. To install Git, let's type sudo apt install git command and press enter. It's been successfully installed, and to verify that, type git version command. The command is successful, and we can see the version of our Git utility. The next thing to install is a command line tool to interact with AWS services. Up until this moment, we were doing everything in the AWS console, or in other words, in the user interface. And AWS CLI allows to do that from the terminal. Follow the link provided in the GitHub repo, and here you can see installation instructions for different systems. Since we already have Ubuntu Linux running on top of Windows, we need to follow instructions for Linux. Let's copy this set of commands and paste them into terminal. Now AWS CLI is being downloaded. And here we've got an error. Looks like Ubuntu doesn't recognize the unzip command, which means that unzip utility is not installed. Let's install it by using apt. Type sudo apt install unzip. And we have successfully installed it. Now we need to rerun the failed command. The file has been successfully unzipped. Let's copy and paste the last command from the set. It has run successfully. Now type AWS version. Here we go, we have it installed and the CLI version is 2.10. Let's move on to the next step, which is to install Terraform. Terraform is an open source infrastructure as code tool that allows you to describe and provision infrastructure resources in a cloud environment. Now follow the first link from the GitHub repo. Click on the Linux tab and copy the commands to install some product dependencies. Dependencies have been successfully installed. The second link will forward you to the instructions page. We need the first set of instructions, which are for Ubuntu and Debian-based Linux distros. First instruction is already done when we were installing the dependencies. Let's start with the second one and download the signing key. We will not go deep into what is signing key, fingerprint and keyring. We just follow the instructions for the moment. If you scroll a little bit up, you will see that the download is successful. Now let's verify the key's fingerprint. You can see that the fingerprint that I've got is identical to what we have in the documentation. So I'm good to proceed. Next, we need to add one more entry to our repository list. Copy and paste the command into our Ubuntu terminal. Alright, now we need to update our repository list, since we just added a new entry into the repository. It is updated, and the last step is to install the product. Here the instructions are for installing the console product, but we need to install Terraform. So we just copy the first part of the command, sudo apt install, and then type in Terraform. Now Terraform has been successfully installed. Type in Terraform version. Everything looks good. Another thing we need to install is Boto 3. Boto 3 is AWS Software Development Kit or SDK for Python, which allows developers to write software that makes use of AWS services. Basically, it is just a regular Python package or library. To install it, we need to use pip utility. Pip is a package manager for Python that is used to install, upgrade and manage Python packages and their dependencies. So let's type pip install Boto 3. Apparently we do not have it installed. Let's do that by typing sudo apt install python 3 pip. The installation is completed. Now rerun the Boto 3 installation command. And this part is also done. So we have achieved everything that we planned in this lesson. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In this video we will learn how to interact with Amazon Web Services account from the terminal. We will also experiment with bash functions to be able to switch between different user profiles. To get started, please open the AWS Management Console. Navigate to the IAM service. Go to the user section and then select our test user. This is the status page, and it appears that the last console login for this user was 2 days ago. but looking at the access key status, it seems like we have never used it. Let's change that. Open Ubuntu subsystem in our Windows terminal. And now we need to configure AWS CLI. Type in AWS configure and then use the access and secret keys that we saved in the previous lessons. First enter the access key, then secret key, for default region I'll put US East 1, and for default format I will use JSON. Alright, type the next command, AWS S3 ls. It basically lists all the available S3 buckets. In our case it has run successfully, but we do not have any S3 bucket yet. Another command that we can execute is AWS STS getCallerIdentity, which displays identity, or in other words user, that we are logged in under right now. You can see that we use test user, and now we can also check if its status in AWS console has changed. Refresh the page, and apparently it has not changed. Alright, let's try to create a S3 bucket. To do that, type AWS S3 MB, which stands for make bucket, then S3 : and then the name of the bucket. Keep in mind that the name of the bucket should be unique globally, otherwise you will get an error. So I'll put a random name, there is no errors, which is good. Now type in AWS S3 ls, and here you can see the bucket we've created. Let's get back to the AWS console, and you can see that the access key was used today. That's great, we just used IAM user from the AWS CLI. Now let's create second user. I will call it test user 2. And attach the same policies that we did for the first one, which is administrator access managed policy, and then click next. And then create user. The user is created. Now open its page, go to security credentials section and click create an access key. Select command line interface, tick the last option and click next. Tagging is optional, please skip it. And let's save newly created access and secret keys. As you can see, this user has only the access keys. It does not have console access, as we do not need it. We created it to test some other things. Now let's see how we can use the user from the terminal. There is a concept of profiles in AWS CLI, which allows to use different users. To create a new one, type AWS configure profile and then the name of the profile. I will call it user2. Then enter access and secret keys of the second user. The default region keep the same, US East 1, and the format is JSON. So we configured another profile. But how we can start using it? Let's check which identity we are using at the moment. As you remember, we type AWS STS getCallerIdentity command for that. And you can see that we are still using an old user. To change that, we need to set up an AWS profile environment variable. Let's see if we have it already. Type echo AWS profile. We use $symbol when we want to reference a variable. The output is empty, so it does not exist. Let's type export AWS profile user2 to apply user2 profile that we've just created. Now echo this variable again. And it has value of user2. If we check the identity, you can see that now we are using test user2. So basically we switched from the test user to test user2. But how do we get back to the test user profile? Actually, when we configured AWS CLI initially, we didn't specify any profile, and it automatically created profile name default. Let's type export AWS profile default and check identity again. As you can see, we're back to the test user. That's good, but as you can imagine, it is not very convenient to switch between profiles typing the full export command every time. And we can simplify that by using bash functions. Let's open Sublime Text, open bash rc file, scroll to the bottom, and let's create a couple of functions. I will call first function as default and add export AWS profile default command into it. The second function will be called user2, and I will add export AWS profile user2 command, as you already guessed. Let's save the file and get back to our terminal. Now we can call these functions directly from the terminal, instead of exporting AWS profile variable. Let's try that. Type user2. And as you can see, Ubuntu cannot find this command. Actually, in order to apply the changes that we added to bash rc file, we need to type source command and then the name of the file. Basically, source command executes all commands from a shell script file and applies them to the shell where it's being executed. Now retype user2, and here we go. It seems that Ubuntu understood the command this time. Let's check the identity, and you can see that we are logged in under a test user2 now. Let's switch to the default profile by calling function called default. It is successful, and now we are logged in under the test user. Perfect! We managed to create functions to simplify switching between different users or different profiles of AWS CLI. We can check all the existing profiles in the credentials file of AWS CLI. This file resides in .aws directory. Here you can see both profiles and respective access and secret keys. If you compare them, you will see that those are actually the ones that we were using during AWS CLI profiles configuration. By the way, this file is not the only place where we can check available profiles. We can also do it by running AWS configure list profiles command. Here you can see the same profiles that we saw in the file. And that's it. We successfully achieved what we planned. We configured AWS CLI with a couple of profiles, we were able to interact with AWS services from the terminal, and we created functions to simplify the switching between different user profiles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Congratulations! You have reached the last video of the course. In this course we have covered the steps necessary to prepare your Windows environment for working with a variety of technologies, including Windows Subsystem for Linux, AWS, Git, Terraform, and Docker. By installing and configuring these tools, you have created a powerful and flexible development environment. In essence, you get a complete development stack for building and deploying modern applications locally and in the cloud environment. Linux is often considered better for development for several reasons, and some of them are compatibility, as most development tools and frameworks are developed for Linux, and community, as Linux community is vast and active, providing developers with access to a wealth of resources, support, and expertise. So, Linux provides developers with a powerful and flexible environment that enables them to be more productive and efficient in their work. Basically, in this course we installed Linux on top of Windows machine and prepared it for future lessons and projects. However, this does not mean that Windows or other operating systems are not suitable for development. It ultimately depends on the developer's personal preferences and requirements. Now I want to say big thanks to you for taking this course. Hopefully it was interesting and useful, and I'm looking forward to the future courses where we'll be learning different technologies while building some interesting projects. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in my other Skills by Drills courses.